Okay, so Command H, hide selection, show selection, hide selection, show selection. Now, the other thing we do too, if we want to, we can go back to the select menu, and based again on these choices, we can modify feather. So let's actually feather this so it's not a hard edge selection. So it doesn't look like we took a hatchet or a hacksaw to the selection. So we're just going to put in 2 pixels of soft radius feathering and hit OK. That's going to soften up the edges a little bit. Again, Command H, hide. Now, Quick Mask is basically the professional tool for getting a more accurate, more pristine selection. This is how the professionals do it. This is how I do it. I taught seminars at both Life Magazine, Time Magazine, Newsweek Magazine. Newsweek is right across the street from my offices on West 57th Street. Okay, also taught basically every major publication in the city how to do a better selection using Quick Mask. Now, Quick Mask is very important. We talked about that in another video series that I have, part of this video series. Quick Mask is the better way to select. Now, the reason it's called Quick Mask because it doesn't actually increase your file size. So by default, if you save a selection, it increases 25% your file size. Okay, so if you have a 100 megabyte file, you just add it 25 megabytes. But 3 things happen in Quick Mask mode. Notice that my foreground color is blue. My background color is orange. If I hit the letter Q, now in order to make this work effectively, I have to have something selected. And I do have something selected. It's just hidden Command H. It's hidden Command H, hides, shows, hides, shows. Now, important step here. We have a couple of choices. We could choose to modify the white select area. Right now, she is not selected. But if we wanted to select her, we could do that very simply by selecting everything but what is selected, also known as inversing the selection. Command Shift I, inverse. Control Shift I for Windows. So right now, she is selected. So if I was to hit the delete key right now, it would delete her selection. Now, what we can do from here is I don't need to have this outside selected. So I can go to the marquee tool, M for marquee, Shift M to get the square marquee tool. And if I hold down the Shift key, that's going to do what? That's going to add to the selection. I don't want to add to the selection. I want to take away from the selection. So how do I do that? Option key, drag, takes away from the selection. Option key, drag, takes away from the selection. So now I physically have her selected. Okay? Now to demonstrate that, I'm just going to hit the delete key, and you'll see that she in fact was selected. Now, an important step here, before we go into Quick Mask mode, I just want to share a couple of concepts with you. If I was to save this and close the file, I would have to go back and re-select her again because, very important vocabulary, I did not save the selection. I saved the file, but I didn't save the selection. So unlike Illustrator or any other program but Photoshop, Photoshop does not remember your selections unless, of course, it's in its own layer. Now, let's understand what I just said here. Unless it's in its own layer. Well, she's in her own layer. It's called Body RWC. But she's not in her own layer by herself. She's in her own layer with the background. Okay, so I just want to make that distinction here. So right now, I want to have her selected, which she is. Then based on these choices under the Select menu, we're going to save selection. Now again, it's going to increase 25% of our file size. Okay, well actually technically 33% because of RGB, 25% in CMYK. Okay, so we're just going to call this full body. And we're going to click and make a new channel. Now, here's the advantage of what I just did. If I was to deselect this, select Command D and save the file, File Save, I can go and reselect her automatically because if I go to my Channels tab here, she is now part of Channel 6. Now, this is an extremely important step when making professional selections. Okay, I don't want to see channel 6. How can I see channel 6? Well, the shortcut is right here. Command 6, Windows, that'd be Control 6. Now, where's this coming from? Well, I want you to understand again how Photoshop thinks. This is an RGB file. When I make a new file by default, my new file by default is red, green, blue. Therefore, I have 4 channels. Therefore, I have 4 channels as far as the composition goes. The first channel is channel 2. Now, in previous version of Photoshop, it used to be 1, 2, 3, 4. They've changed that, starting with CS4, I believe. Okay, so in this particular case, channel, if I hit Command 2 right now, that's going to physically show me. It's going to physically show me channel 2. So Command 2, Command 3, Command 4, etc., etc. So Command 2 is my composition. Command 3 is channel red. Command 4 is channel green. Command 5 is channel blue. And Command 6 is my selection. Now, what I don't want to have happen, I don't want to see my selection. I want to load my selection. Now, since we're on this selection, this is known as the alpha channel. Okay, now back in the day, we could have, I'm going to go back to my composition again and deselect this layer here, this channel here. So back in the day, we can see that right now, if I go to that selection and Command 6, I could see, so this one, so I'm going to go to Command 2 and Command 6. Okay, so if I'm in my RGB channel, okay, I don't want to see the channel. I want to load the channel. So how can I load the channel? I can simply add the Option key. I Option click, or I'm sorry, my mistake on that. Option 6, Command Option 6 would load channel 6. Command Option 5 would load channel 5. Windows, that'd be Control Alt 5. So as an example, if I wanted to load all the red information in this image, it's Command Option 3. Loads all my red channel information. Command Option 4 loads all my green channel information. Command Option 5 or Control Alt 5 for Windows loads my blue information. If you want to load, say, blue with green, then hold down the Shift key. So Command Option 4 would load 4 plus 5. Now again, if I hit Command 3, that's going to show me channel 3. Command 4 is going to show me channel 4. Okay, if I hit Command Shift 3, that's going to load, I'm sorry, Command Option 3, it's going to load channel 3. Command Option 4 is going to load channel 4, which is green. Command 2 goes back to my composite. So don't confuse channels with layers. We'll talk about that in great detail in another video. So here's how this thinks. The layer holds the actual image itself. The channel holds the pixel information that made up that channel. The channel holds the pixel information. The layers hold the physical pixels. Okay, so as an example, if I was at Command Option 6, it loads that channel, regardless of where I am right now, by the way. So I just want to share with you this very, very powerful technique. So as an example, I'm going to go to my layer right now. I'm going to make a brand new layer by clicking right here. So I have a brand new layer. In fact, to demonstrate this, let's simply Option key click to hide this layer. And just because we can, let's fill this layer with, say, blue. Option delete would fill it with foreground color. So what does channel 6 do? Channel 6 basically stores the information of that selection. Doesn't store its pixels, I'm sorry, doesn't store the image itself, it stores the pixels that made the selection. So as an example, if I right now am in my layers and I hit Command Option 6, Windows, that would be Control Alt 6, it would load that selection. Now, it has nothing to do at this point. It has nothing to do with her physical pixels. It physically loaded that saved selection. Okay, so now I can do something like this. I can pick a different colors. I'm going to pick this this purplish color, and I can fill that selection with that purple color. Option delete. Command D deselects. Now, important step here. This is part of the same layer because that's what I told it to do. So I'm going to undo this a few times. Command Option Z. So I just want to share with you the concept here. So now I have transparency. So if I was to hit Command Option 6 now and fill that with, say, this orange color, or actually let's fill it with this blue color, Option delete. Command D deselects. Now this is the only image that's inside that layer, so I can move wherever I want to move it. So this is great for doing like flats or silhouettes of an object or characters and that type of thing. This is a good technique to use for that. But I just want to completely be crystal clear on the fact that I've saved the selection, and all it did was save the selected area of the pixels. I'm going to go up to the File menu and revert this to the last saved version. Okay, so we'll get deep into Quick Mask in the very next video.